Are we really live? Uh, it says 0 viewers. Oh, there. 4 viewers. Oh. Hello, guys. Welcome back. Sorry, technical difficulties. We're still trying to think we just realized that whenever we try to do it through the phone, schedule it through the phone, it's giving us some difficulty. So, we're running a little late. Yeah, we won't be doing that, you guys. Hi, Rosa. Anita looks gorgeous. Thank you, Eva. Hey, family. What's up? Hi, Candace. Hi, Karina. Jesus. Nicholas. I made it on time. Yes, Audrey. Everybody's here on time. We were actually like 5 minutes late.
Yeah, we should have already been doing this.
I know. I was just looking at Jose's post of you guys on IG. I can't say it enough how happy I am for you guys. You guys, we actually did that video like 5 minutes, like 10 minutes ago, huh?
Literally.
Oh, Arizona. Hi, guys. Thank you, though. Thank you, Gabby. Saludos to you, too. Alrighty, guys. So let's get started. Welcome back to another episode 3 of
Breakthrough Conversations.
Breakthrough Conversations. Today's video.
Today's concept.
Today's topic is, drum roll, please.
It is going to be breaking cultural habits, right?
Overcoming cultural habits. I'm like, he's the one that comes up with the names, the topics, and he doesn't even know.
I know. I just have so much on my mind. But I think it's a super important topic because I think it's like step one. You know, I think when anybody starts their journey, like overcoming,
absolutely,
you know, having to overcome the family feedback or the lack of support or all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a good step one for everybody to kind of start there and, you know, have that conversation. Yeah. It's funny because we started this whole thing just like on a wing. You know, we're just, all right, let's do this. And by like less than a week, we already had this going. So we're just building it up as we can. You know, every single time we're planning on getting better. So if you guys see, we have 2 cameras set up now.
Now we have
instead of just cameras. One stationary.
Wait, how do they know we have 2 cameras?
Well, because on the previous ones, there was just one angle. Well, 2 cameras because of this, watch.
Wait, so right now they weren't able to see me?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now you can see me.
Yeah.
So people can only see me right now.
Yeah, like when I switch it. So you guys can see I have this like little thing right here. So with this, I can switch it back and forth so that I don't have to have somebody like on the back with like a computer.
Oh, okay. So everything we see, they see.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, gotcha. So right now I could literally be poking my nose and they won't know.
Somebody said.
Go ahead. What happened?
Somebody said, do you guys still talk to Boomer? Of course.
Yes. Anita feels left out. No, I just thought that, like, I don't know. I just thought we would be able to see. Yeah. But guys, let's talk about Jose's outfit today.
Putting me on the spot.
How it's been literally a minute since I've seen him dress up like this. He would literally dress like this when he was doing a lot of like real estate. So I haven't seen him wear like tight shirts, like dressing shirts, dressing pants. So he's wearing like baggy and a hat.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like
a new man.
Yeah, like I haven't really dressed like this. I used to dress like this all the time. But today, I don't know. So I woke up like at 6 a.m. I went, worked out, you know, came back, got showered, got ready. And then just, you know, had to go up to Orange County to work with one of my clients. But I think kind of like the big thing for me was like a lot of the times like you need something to just kind of like reset, you know, to just kind of shift. And one of the reason why I ended up buying this is because I'm working on my membership, I'm working on my course. And so I'm like, all right, let me get an outfit. I just need to feel good, you know, kick it in so I could just start chipping away at, you know, the videos and the modules of, me teaching and showing what I know, right? And so I was like, you know what, let me go to Zara, let me go get an outfit. So I bought this, and I bought like another, two shirts. I was like, all right, feel good.
Yeah, there you go. He's feeling himself now.
Yeah, that's actually kind of like flow us in right into the topic, because I think you know, there's a lot of little factors, when it comes to like getting started. It's like if you
The
feel good
starter
about
kit.
yourself, yeah, it's like if you feel good about yourself, you'll feel good about yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and just everything.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, when you look good, when you feel good, or was it when you look good, you feel good. So that definitely is like a big, big thing, you guys. Um, but yeah, see, like Jose, you have a nice outfit. Oh, you guys making babies tonight? No more babies,
no,
guys. We're done.
that's it.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Wow. Well, let's
All
get
right,
into it, because
guys.
that's one of the things that I've noticed is that we, like, whenever we're doing the live stream, like we get like sidetracked. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah, because then we start reading too many of the
but
comments.
that's the best part though. Like
Yeah,
having,
you're right.
like
We're just figuring it
info.
out as we're going, you guys. So bear with us.
I'm just trying to like make you guys feel included as well. So, it's just trying to. I don't think they can see me, huh?
Sorry.
We're gonna have to fire Jose, you guys.
I know, I'm fired.
But it's what was I saying?
They're gonna have. You're trying to include them into what we're
Yeah,
doing.
I'm just trying to include you guys in our, conversation. The reason why I loved doing the live stream was because you guys are allowed to comment and we're able to read your comments and, kind of incorporate you guys into the
The whole
conversations.
mix.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's go. Let's go, babe.
Let's get into it. All right. So, um, for the most part, I think a lot of the times when I hear people saying like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I feel unmotivated, this and that." And I think for the most part is because they tell their dreams to the wrong people. It's like I think a lot of the times, like especially in this generation, we're exposed to like a lot more information. Obviously through social media, we get to see people making money from the randomest things, right? Whether it's through creating content, whether it's to now doing like the NPC live videos of like, thank you for da, da, da. You know what I mean? So I think,
Thank you for the
thank you for
rose.
the rose, thank you for the like. No, but I think because there's so many different new paths and ways to like make money or make a living. Whenever you tell that to like a traditional Mexican parent, or just a traditional parent in general, they're gonna be like, why do you want that? You gotta go to school.
¿Qué de
What?
esas chingaderas?
Ajá, eso no te va a dejar nada bueno. Like, ¿cómo vas a ganar dinero de eso? Like, búscate un trabajo seguro. But honestly, I think right now we're in a generation and a time in culture and society where you can literally make money from your home.
Anywhere.
So
From your phone, from just literally anywhere.
yeah. So I would definitely, suggest, changing the people that you do tell it to. And again, always people are like, oh, I'm not around people that are motivated or driven or have goals. That's okay. Like, it's normal to have that. When we first started out, we didn't have anybody either, right? But, there's a lot of people out there on social media that you can also find, whether it's going to events that are free, whether you're paying 25 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks to attend events that you can find through a website called Eventbrite. It's typically people who are going into like workshops or going into seminars. So if you really want to look for a new environment and meet new people that are on the same path as you and are motivated and are hungry to start something different in their career, definitely do that. Because now you're going to be surrounded by people that want to achieve the same thing you do, have the same vision, have the same mindset, and you guys can hold each other accountable. I think also too, like some people work different, right? For me, like I personally like working alone because I just go, go, go. But for other people, it might be more encouraging and motivating to work as a team. Don't get me wrong. Like I love working as a team. Like when me and Anita, create content together, like I feel motivated because I'm like, we're both doing this for us and our kids and our future. So it's exciting, right? So if you're somebody like that, definitely go ahead and find, your right tribe, your right community, invest into yourself so that you can, go ahead and take the next jump and the leap of faith.
Yeah, I think it's really important to find a good support system because when you do, you'll be able to have that person to kind of pick you up whenever you are feeling like you're falling behind, also too, like, don't be afraid of feeling uncomfortable, you know, because a lot of times we meet people that kind of want to push us to do our best. They see potential in you, but we tend to hold back because, and that happened to me a lot of times, even till this day. I'm actually gonna go. I was just telling Jose earlier. No, when was it? When did I tell you?
Like
Like 4 days.
like 3 4 days ago.
I think it was last week.
Yeah.
Last week. I was telling him I've been feeling kind of comfortable in my business. I haven't felt like, I wouldn't say motivation. It's a weird, I don't even know what word to say, but I've been feeling kind of like stuck. And so I needed something to push me out there, you know, get me out of my comfort zone. So I told him literally like 4 or 5 days ago, I was like, hey, like, I think I'm going to go and invest into like a mentor.
Yep.
Why can't I say it? A mentor.
Mentor. Yeah.
Mentor. It sounds weird. It sounds wrong. A mentor.
Like mentorship.
A mentor. So I wanted to invest in a mentor, you know, because I was feeling like I was feeling stuck. And it's tomorrow, you guys, but it's a very scary feeling because obviously, you know, it's a lot of money that you have to pay. On top of that, it's like, am I capable of, you know, being able to do what's expected of me?
That part. And the reason why I'm going to add into that part is because that's people's biggest problem. You know, it isn't like, you know, in your heart and in your mind that this person has the capacity to like level you up.
Yes.
But the part that is the biggest uncontrollable or the biggest factor is you having the confidence to know that you can take that information and run with it and be greater.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and for the most part, that's people's biggest struggle, because it's like, okay, I see this person's killing it. I see them on social media. They're legit, you know, this and
Yes.
that. But
yes.
do I have the confidence in myself to take that information or that new knowledge that I'm going to learn and be able to make something with it, you know?
Yeah. So that's kind of like my biggest fear, because, you know, it's not just a course where I'm going to learn a technique, you know, obviously, yes, but it's more an advanced course where, you know, she's asking me what I need help with, what can she help me with, and so there's going to be things being expected of me. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's a scary feeling, because even today I was, you know, thinking, I'm like, man, it's already tomorrow, and I was already kind of feeling overwhelmed with the emotions, because I'm afraid, like, again, I'm going again for myself to LA, you know, going there and putting myself very vulnerable as a business owner. You know, I'm literally putting all my, what would you say, my weaknesses on the table for her to see. You know, she's going to be like, okay, what can I help you with? So it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary to be like, man, I need help with this, you know? And so I was just like, oh, like, should I cancel? Like, you know, it's a very scary feeling, but, it's something that I know I need to do in my heart so that I can jump to the next level for my business, for my career, you know, for us as a family. But it's scary.
Yeah. So I think I want to add on to that, because I think you know that, right? And I think for the most part, that's the reason why a lot of people don't do it, right? It's because, you know, it's like, if I tell this person, she's gonna know my weaknesses. She's gonna know I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. But that's how you achieve the next level, right? One of the things that I've been telling myself lately is, obviously these last couple of months for me have been great in terms of business. And one of the things that I keep telling myself is like, the next level isn't going to show you who you are. It's going to show you who you aren't. And
Ooh.
yeah, and it's been like in my mind, right? Because obviously, you know, God blessed me with the opportunity to become a person capable of doing what I'm doing. But it was also a reminder of the things that I needed improvement. You know, there was a lot of holes in my business. There was a lot of systems that I didn't have. There was a lot of communication errors with my team. There was a lot of like little things that I'm like, once you start producing at that level, it's like, damn, like I didn't realize how bad I was running my business, or how many things I needed to fix and improve on. But that's the beauty of it, right? Because there's two types of people. The type of person that's either going to step up, you know, build the character and the habits to be a person capable of sustaining that next level, or you're going to be the person that's going to look at it, is going to be lazy, and you're going to crumble and not do anything with it, right? So if you have the capacity to say, okay, I'm going to face this, it sucks, it's uncomfortable, I feel vulnerable right now. I feel like I'm not gonna make it. I'm stressed out.
That's all
Embrace
me.
it. Embrace that,
Yeah.
because next time you're gonna be able to be like, all right, I know how this feels like. I know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm meant to go through this process. It's like riding a bike, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you start riding a bike, you don't just get on it and you start riding
Yeah.
it and it's good. It's like,
All these
you tilt it to the
emotions.
right, you tilt to the left, you can fall, etc. But
Yeah.
the more you do it, the more that you're like, okay, I
It
got
becomes
this.
second
It becomes
nature.
second nature. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a very scary feeling, but again, like he like he like how he was saying, one of the first things that I think we overcome, and this always plays in my mind, you guys, because this was probably the biggest thing we ever did at the time. We were, I'm going to say 23,
Mm.
24. We were still living at my mom's house, and we had like our own room. And I remember my car kept messing up. So we were thinking, let's get a new car. Jose, being Jose, was like, you know what? Let's get a car out of the dealership. To us Mexicans,
It was the first time ever.
yeah, especially my family. I mean, we come from Mexico. We come from like this mentality of like, buying cars from the streets. I don't know if you guys remember that back in the day. That was like cars, they would put the for sale
For
sign.
sale
So
sign.
that's what we would do. My first car, I bought it off the street like that. So
Little Geo Metro.
yeah, so that's kind of what we were used to.
Conditioned to.
Yeah, conditioned to. So I remember he was like, no, let's get a car out of the dealership because I want, at the time, Mila was like
Mila was,
one
yeah.
or a couple of months old. And so he was like, let's get a car out of the dealership because I want you guys to be okay if the car breaks down. Because my car kept breaking down
Yeah,
all
all
the
the
time.
time.
And I was in school. I was going to college at the time. My car would overheat and I was being left stranded. Obviously, being a girl, it's a little bit, not so much safe. And then having the kid, it was kind of like,
Yeah,
nah,
I ain't letting that happen.
exactly. So he was like, let's get a Mercedes. I was like, what? At the time, a Mercedes is a luxury. I mean,
Yeah.
it still is,
Yeah, it
right?
still is.
But from him having a 9 to 5, I wasn't working at the time. Oh no, I was. I was a
Think
makeup
about it. I
artist.
was making like $1,600 a month.
Yeah. And so I was a makeup artist, and when he said that, I was like, no, like you're
no way.
crazy. Like there's no way, one, que me voy a endrogar con un carro, right? Because that's literally how we were conditioned. Once again, like, no, you
Yeah.
don't take cars out, you don't do that, right? And then two, it's a luxury car. Like,
Yeah.
none of my family has a luxury car, so where I could be like, oh, it's a common thing. So we ended up running numbers, and then we were like, all right, let's get it. That same night, I think you were like looking the
Yeah.
next 2 days. Within like 3 days after that conversation, we're driving up to
Well, we gotta give them a little bit more context too, because I think during that time, like we were not even making a lot of money. You know what I mean? And then also too, like my biggest thing for me was like, I much rather, pay monthly a little bit higher, but knowing that everything is gonna be good.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Instead of paying cheaper, but then wondering when something is gonna break down.
Exactly.
So it's like it's a give and take kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then also too, like people start telling you like, oh, pero las partes, que va a salir bien caro, que el servicio, que es lo otro, right? So it's like it's in our nature to feel like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do it. Da, da, da.
We were
But
second guessing
one
it
of the
for
things
sure.
during that time, I was like really into like self-development. That's when I really started focusing on my self-development. And it was one of those things where it's like you'll either put yourself under pressure and grow, or you're going to stay where you're at and you'll never see the potential of what you could be. And so for me, that was like, all right, like I'm going to do this. This has never been done. And that, I don't know why, like I've always felt like I always like doing things that have never been done in my environment. Like it just motivates me, And so we were looking at some cars, we started getting excited. And then we sent our info to the finance
Dealership.
department of the dealership. They approved us, everything. They gave us a rate, and then we were like, are you sure this is going to be our payment? Like, it's not going to go up once we get over there, this, and that. They were like, no, this is going to be your rate, da-da-da. We went there. We ended up getting the car. And it's funny because if you really think about it, we were so excited at just the fact that it was a Mercedes that we didn't even check that it didn't have a sunroof. It didn't have
We
like
didn't check
a bunch of like
nothing.
other little details, um,
But let me, on our way over there, you guys, my heart was racing, my arms were sweating, and in the back of my mind this whole time I'm thinking, oh my god, what's my family gonna say? Like, are because I'm thinking like they're not going to be okay with this because it's never been done. They're obviously trying to watch out for us, and they're trying to make sure that no nos estamos
and
endrogando with
yeah,
something that we might not be able to afford. And all of these thoughts in my mind, I was just so scared. My hands were literally shaking,
yeah,
and I was
it's scary for
terrified,
sure.
very terrified. But once we got there, you go finish your
Yeah, I
story.
think so once we got there, we did the paperwork, everything, da da da. We did the signed everything. We took the car, and we were just stoked, to be even, able to drive the vehicle. But long story short, like as soon as we got back, the finance departments are like, "Oh, the bank is not approving it." And I was like, "How are you gonna tell
I
us?"
think we had like at the time it was like a point, like a 3%
Yeah, like a 3 point something
APR.
percent or whatever, or I think it was closer to four. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a four, and our payment was gonna be what, like 450 or something like that, right? Or yeah, something around those lines, or 500.
No, it was gonna be like three something.
Yeah, three
Yeah.
something. But that at the time we were like, that's a
That's a
lot,
lot. Yeah.
Plus considering insurance and like all these other things,
Yeah.
right? Anyways, long story short, they basically finessed us. They were
They
like, oh,
did.
the bank doesn't want to approve it. We're gonna have to go through another bank, and then this other bank was giving us like a 6 point something. So like our payment was gonna be like $600 and something. We're
Yep.
like, how? You know what I mean? We're
Yep.
like, we've already posted it on social media. We've already brought it home. We've already been driving it for a couple of days. Like, how are we gonna like
Let it
let
go.
it go? So that's when we were like, all right, you know what? Like, we'll just figure it out. And lo and behold, now that car is paid off. Like
That's
that
the
was
car I still drive, you guys.
yeah,
To
that's the
this day,
car
that's
she
my baby. That's my baby
paid
still.
off car. And it's like one of those things where it's like that little accomplishment shows you that fear that you feel, that uncomfortableness that you feel, is what actually helps you become the best version of yourself. Because now
Absolutely.
when you're in these environments of like investing into like mentorships, it's like, okay, I know I'm gonna make it work. Like I know I'm gonna get my money back some shape somehow, right? And
And not just that, you guys, but to me, the whole time when that was happening, I did see how God blessed us even more. As crazy as it sounds, like God provided. I mean, like a year later, we moved into our own apartment. So that was even like mind blowing too, because we had just gotten a car a year before, and we were like terrified because we're like, how are we going to be able to keep the payments?
yeah,
And then fast forward to a year later, we're moving into our own place, and I was like, man, this is all God. Like when you take that
that
leap
part.
of faith, God will deliver. No te va a dejar. He's always there for you, and he has a bigger plan for you. So I just feel like if he puts a vision in your mind, it's for a reason. You must trust him, take that leap of faith, and you will see how he's going to bless you 10 times fold.
100%. A quote comes to mind that says, "Don't walk by sight, walk by faith." And I think a lot of us, we walk by sight, right? Because
Yeah.
nobody else has done it before. Our family members don't support us. Our friends think we're crazy, etc. But at the end of the day, God gave you that vision, and it's your vision and your gift, for you to unfold and, bring to the world, right? Because you never know how things are going to evolve from that. Like look at us now. It's like, who would have thought that we would have had a platform where now we can teach people others, or just encourage other people to be like, go after it. It's okay. We come from what you come from. Like, we don't come from money. None of our families had businesses. None of, like, you know what I mean? Like from the ground up.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm trying to explain.
No,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
like we literally, I mean, if you guys have been following us for a while, I was born in Mexico. My whole family was from Mexico. We came here with nothing, nothing. We were staying at people's garages. We were renting rooms. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. You guys went through that with your parents. And we started from nothing. Even till this day, it's still very hard for my family to grasp how we're able to have make a living for ourselves just doing this, right? We have different sources of income, obviously, but my mom gets mind blown. You know, sometimes I'll get sponsorships get delivered to the house, and she's like people pay you to do a video of you cooking and they send you these products, like, do you have to pay for the products? And I'm like, no, mommy, you know, they send them to us for free and we still get paid to do the video. And she's just mind blown, you know. But it's just it's overcoming all these little things. And don't get me wrong, like my mom still kind of, you know, even when I was going to start my microblading business, it was really hard for her to kind of understand. Like, I know she wants the best for me, and she was saying it in the best way possible. Yeah. But when I was going to go get my microblading course, at first, I kept telling her, like, hey, mommy, like, I'm going to go up to LA and I'm going to take a course. She obviously supported me, but she kept saying, like, oh, you know, but why don't you just get her, like, un trabajito, donde un part-time, yo te cuido a los niños, pero es algo seguro, you know, something that it's for sure. Like, we know that your paycheck is going to come in no matter what. And obviously she knew that if I started you know, doing my own business, my income depended on me. And so she was terrified for me, and her and my sister kept, you know, they would come and be like, hey, like, just get a regular job, just get a 9 to 5, you know, you'll have something for sure coming in, like, you'll be comfortable, like, we'll help you with the kids. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, no, like, I can't see myself working a 9 to 5. I know that because my schedule with the kids, it's going to be very hard for me to come, you know, take time off to pick up my daughter. And it was just going to be really hard. So I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And, you know, they probably thought I was going crazy. And they're like, oh my God. But, you know, fast forward to now, they get mind blown. Like I said, you know, because they're like, damn, like, we can't believe that you did it. You know, you have a whole business and you make good money. You're here with the kids. You're able to, you know, wake up with your kids every morning, pick up Mila from school. But it's just proving to them, you know, that, like, yes, I'm super grateful, you know, that they wanted the best for me. But it's just, you have to show them, because it's hard for them to get, you know, they come from a different generation where working a 9 to 5 or working for somebody is a lot more secure. So it's just, you know, having to teach them, but also show them so they understand.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest part, right? Because for the most part, if they haven't seen somebody else yet done it, of course they're not going to, you know, have the vision for it, because it hasn't been done yet. But it's your job and it's your responsibility to see it through, right? And then from there, they'll be more comfortable with, like, making better, you know, not better, but, like, even taking chances on themselves. You know, maybe they've wanted to start a business, or maybe they wanted to do something different, but because they want that consistency, they didn't do it, right? And obviously now, you know, obviously you guys saw what happened these last couple of years. You know, people lost their jobs. Countless of people lost their jobs. Now more people are losing their jobs because of AI and, you know, just technology. So really nobody really is safe. There's really no such thing as a secure job. You know what I mean? So, you know, with that in mind, it's like, take the risk, take the chance, like, invest in yourself. What the biggest thing that's going to give you the most amount of confidence in yourself to do things is investing into your knowledge. If it doesn't have to, it doesn't have to start off as paid. You can literally go on YouTube and start learning, you know, how to get your mind right. The biggest thing is always going to be your mind right. When you get your mind right, you're able to perform. You're able to do things of, like, okay, I know this is uncomfortable right now, but I know it's going to pay off. I know if I just keep going, things are going to turn for me for the better. And then from there, you're like, okay, now that you've picked, you know, what path you want to go after. And even then, I think that's another part too, where people are like, okay, well, I'm motivated. I want to start. I'm okay with my family not, you know, believing in me or encouraging me. What do I even do? You know? And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. And what I will say is just do the first thing that comes to your mind. Try it. Because from trying, you're going to realize, like, okay, is this really something that I want to do? Right? Is it something that I'm really passionate about? If not, pivot, find something else. See if there's anything else. When I first started my kind of like entrepreneurship journey, the first thing that I did was, what was it? The eBay thing, no? Was it the eBay? Yeah, I think it
eBay.
was the
Yeah, you
eBay
were
store.
selling
So what I would do is I would find stuff on eBay like girls' clothes, and then I would sell them on Facebook to like friends that we're friends with,
like
right?
close friends.
Yeah,
Because at the time, like the influencer thing wasn't like a
yeah. It
thing.
wasn't
It was just
like
like whoever you had on your
on your Facebook
Facebook
group.
was who you
Yeah,
could sell
it was
to, you
before
know?
Instagram was really like a thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the first venture, and then we're like, oh, this is kind of cool, right? And then from there, it evolved into like buying and selling cars, and then that was horrible because mechanics were taking
That's a
forever.
big,
Yeah,
that's,
maybe
yeah.
you're gonna be in the negative, maybe something pops up, and then you're
Something. We were stuck
yeah
with the car that you want to switch it? We were stuck with the car for about, like, I remember we bought a car and we were stuck with it for like about a year because we
yeah
couldn't fix it. And we couldn't get rid of it because
yeah
obviously it wasn't working. But we were stuck with that thing. It was like a total loss,
yeah
obviously.
literally
But we've done so many things, that have obviously led us to where we're at now. So, like he was saying, don't be afraid of taking chances. It might not work the first time, but don't give up, because when that door closes, something else opens. And by you doing that, it's going to lead you to where you need to be. But you just have to go, you guys. You have to do something. Today, I actually shared on my Instagram stories that I saw this thing that was saying, like, if you haven't found your purpose, if you're very unhappy, and a lot of people, sometimes it's hard for them to know, like, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? Like, I haven't found what I'm passionate about. And one of the things I was saying, it was like, think of something that you would do for free, and like really think about it, because it has to be something that you're willing to do for free, but that you also enjoy it. Like, oh, with in the back of your mind, like, I wouldn't mind doing this. Well, that is what you should make it as a career.
And I want to add to that, because I think, one of the misconceptions that people have is like when you start a business, you think that you just start it and you make money and then you're just living well and traveling all over the world, right? And that's not the case. Like, there is going to be tough times. Even when you're doing good, there's still going to be tough times, right? It's like how I told you guys, I was having my biggest months, my biggest milestones in my careers, and I was stressed out because I was like, how did I not see this? How did I have these many flaws in my business, right? It's always going to be a thing, right? But since I'm passionate about it, I'm like, okay, let me get better. Like, let me be the best version of myself. Let me learn this. Let me invest into this. Let me learn into systems. Let me learn into all these other things. And now that has given me the confidence to, be even greater, because again, it exposed me to my flaws, and then I worked on my flaws, and then it just helped me become a better version of myself and in my business. And one of the other things that I will say is, like, yes, the starting off with like something that you would do for free is amazing and all that. But one of the biggest mistakes that I see people in our culture make is that they go after businesses that are low margin, right? And what I mean by that is, like, most likely they'll start a business just to make $100, just to make $200. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you gonna invest the same amount of energy that you would invest into getting a regular job, in terms of amount of time spent, just to make $100? And I've realized that we're conditioned to be like, oh, pues $100, ¿quién te los va a regalar? $100 is gonna give you those $100,
true.
right? And we're so stuck on that mindset that we'll start a whole business where we'll, I remember when the cups thing was like a big deal. Everybody was starting those cup business, but the margins are low because you have to buy the cup, you have to wrap it. That's time invested, and you're only making like $4 or $5 into that, right? So again, if you are gonna go into a business, make sure that that business has the possibility for you to be able to make a good amount of money while doing it, right? And then if it's something that maybe might be low margin, make it into an experience. So instead of it just being
touch base on that, because that kind of like not blew my mind, but it left me like, oh wow, I didn't even think about it that way. But he was how he was saying on that, he had told me about, like he's saying, make it into an experience. Obviously, if you're let's say, this is the example he gave me. If there's somebody that's selling charms for Crocs, you know how they do like customizable ones. You might not be having a good margin for that business, but he was saying, make it into an experience where now you say, oh hey, I offer customizing
You want to say it?
Yeah, you say it. I'm like, he said it better.
Yeah, so pretty much like the idea that I told her was like, for the most part, let's use the Crocs and the Charms as an example, right? For the most part, charms aren't going to be very profitable. You're not going to tax somebody $20 for a little charm and, make a margin. So what I was telling her is like, for the most part, instead of just charging, per charm, make it into an experience. There's more people now that are a lot more health conscious, so instead of on birthday parties or on kids' birthday parties, instead of, having candy and investing money into candy, into, sugary stuff and cakes, parents more likely to pay for an experience. So why not offer that as a service, right? So where it's like, hey, instead of buying candies and piñatas and having sweets and food trucks and cotton candy, why don't you invest into an experience where your kids can come, they'll be entertained, they can make their own custom charms, you get some like look-alike Crocs where the child can color on them, paint all over them, right? But now you can charge a lot more money for that instead of it just being for the margin for the charm or the shoe. Now you're charging way more because it's an experience, and parents are willing to pay for that because they want their kids to have a good time. We're a lot more health conscious, so that would be a better way to do it. It's like how they say a water bottle at whatever place costs $1.
At the park.
A water at the park can cost $3. A water at the airport can cost $7, right?
The water at Disneyland is going to be
$15.
$10.
You know what I mean? But it's how you position it and what type of environment you're in that will result in a bigger margin. And I can kind of give the same example for my business. When I first started out, I was working my ass off for $1,500, and I was telling people, okay, I'll shoot with you once a week. I'll post on your social media, I'll run your ads, I'll edit the content, I'll shoot the content, I'll do your photos for $1,500. And then I started growing, and it's like I'm like undercharging, right? But again, I was in the wrong environment. But these are the lessons that you learn as you go into your career, right?
And I think you have to start off like that.
You do.
Don't think that because you're starting a business, you're gonna be, I mean, you're lucky if you go your first month and you're freaking killing it. But the majority of business owners, they go in and they have to do a lot of things for free. They have to, work extra, because that's what I did. I mean, a lot of people, think that, the first month I was working a lot for free. I was losing money because I was investing in supplies, wasting my time, but I was getting good content.
Investing your time.
Exactly. So, I wasn't really making much money when I first started because it was a lot of free stuff. I was like, I just need models. I just need people to...
Social proof.
Social proof, exactly. So don't think that, I mean, you grow as you go. So don't ever feel bad that, you're not making money right off the bat.
Yeah. And also too, like one of the biggest things that the reason why people start a business and they fail or they give up on it is because, they think that because they started a business, the whole world should know that they have a business or that they're in business. And that's not the case, right? People are like, oh, well, I'm not good at content, or I'm not good at marketing my business. I'm not good at putting myself out there. Okay, you have the answer. You're not good at those things. So what are you going to do? You're going to continue to be bad at those things, or are you going to go and learn these things, right? Again, like I said,
we're spitting fire right now, you guys.
Hey, you guys drop the fire emoji. Comment the fire emoji.
Because damn, if you guys aren't hitting a like, we're throwing game for free over here, you guys.
So it's like, and again, like people always, as you're starting out, obviously, right? You're trying to make sure that you're not, burning through money. So go on YouTube. Like, how do you market yourself? How do I make content? How do I make good, marketing material for...
Go follow your social media guy on Instagram.
Follow me on Instagram, right? I always be giving out game. Or even going on like TikTok, right? TikTok is one of my favorite spots to go and just look at what's working on social media for specific topics. So for example, like let's say you're doing makeup. Right, go on TikTok, search up makeup, and you're going to see a whole bunch of examples of what other makeup artists are doing. Go after the ones that have the biggest amount of numbers, the biggest amount of views, the biggest amount of comments. Why? Because that video has now been proven to work. So because that video has now been proven to work, you take the concept, and then you make your own style of that, right? And that's, and it blows my mind, right? But I think also too at the same time, it's like this is what's common to me because I'm so into it, right? But even something as little as that can literally change the whole path of somebody's confidence when it comes to promoting their business, right? And then the layer two to that, because that's just part one, right? The layer two is like, if you post it and it doesn't perform, good. You had that opportunity to be better, to become better. You had another at bat. You're putting yourself out there. Now do it again the next day, and then do it again the next day, and then do it again the next day. And then as you continue to get clients, take a little bit of that money that you have and invest it into running sponsored ads, even if it's $20, $50, $100, just so that you get the confidence and knowing what it's like to invest money into your marketing. Because from there, you're going to be like, oh, it's that my reach went higher.
Yep.
I got a couple more likes, or I had more of this, or I had more of that. I
Yep.
got 10 more followers, right? And people would be like, oh, well, it's just 5 followers. It's 10 followers. Yes, but those people followed you because of your service. You know
That
what I mean?
one day might turn into potential
A client,
clients.
yes. For the
Yeah.
most part, people get so caught up on like, oh, well, I didn't grew 1,000 followers this month or 10,000 followers. I must be doing something bad. No, quality over quantity when it comes to growing followers on social media, especially if you're doing it for business, right? Because now it's like, you know that those 10 people that followed you actually followed you because they have an interest in your services. They have an interest in getting their makeup done. They have an interest in XYZ product service that you're doing, right? And to give you some more deeper knowledge is like more than the people are more than likely going to book with you after the 6th or 7th time that they've seen you. So it's not just going to be on the first one. You analyze yourself. Whenever you see a person or a product that's showing up as an ad, do you immediately buy it? The chances are you probably don't. You wait until you see it 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. So now with that in mind, you're like, okay, since a person has to see me 6 times, let me make 6 pieces of content so that when they see these pieces of content, I'm nurturing them. I'm warming them up for them to reach out. I'm making the opportunity to get those potential clients because I've put myself in front of them 6 to 7 times. And then also don't be robotic. Don't be like, oh, I'm just posting browse, browse, browse. No, post content about yourself. Post
That was
content
me,
about
you
your
guys.
family, you
I
know?
was posting browse, browse, browse. And the
Dude.
minute we do that, like one video of me talking, we got like
1.4 million as of right now.
And then my thing grew at like, I went up, what, like 5,000,
Like 5,000
followers? Yeah, and this was, what, within the last 2 weeks?
Yep.
And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm over here posting browse, 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 and
Yep. And that's
It's
that's
just
the thing,
crazy.
right? Because you think that you need to be selling, and it's like, no, like people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And the reason why that is because more than likely people are emotional with money, right? So if I'm gonna give my hard-earned money away, I want to give it to somebody that I like, somebody that I trust. And for the
Yeah.
most part, they're not gonna be able to see your personality if you're just posting your products, your services. Like, people don't care about that stuff.
Yeah.
You can have the best product in the world, but if you're not, creating that personality, especially as a small growing business, you want to incorporate yourself, record behind the scenes, do all this stuff, right? And to add to that, for the most part, people are always like, oh, well, I'm insecure about this. You might not say it, but you know that you are. You might be insecure about the way you look, the way you sound, the way you talk. Well, let me tell you something. You look and sound just like that off of camera too. You know what I mean? And you're still living. But even then, it's like, you being different is what makes you you. Like, I saved the video, and I saved it for this exact same reason, because for the most part, people don't move because they're insecure about themselves or being judged. I'm gonna show you guys a video, and hopefully you guys can see it. But it's this guy, short guy, like a little he's like a, I don't know what the proper term to say, but like he's,
Today is our first day of university. First, I had my morning class, where
can't
of
see it.
course the automatic door did not work. Leave it to you, Vic, to take every last dollar of ours, but still not be accessible. After that, I came back to my place to make breakfast. Alright, so I've already had 2 classes today for a total of 2 hours, and I'm already done. This is gonna be a hard.
he's like a, what you call it? Like, I think it's like a, like
He has
an
like a dwarfism.
something like
that-
that. It's como, es un enanito, right?
Uh-huh.
And I loved it because he put himself out there, and it just comes to show that you don't have to be beautiful, that you don't have to be 6'2", you don't have to have this like picture perfect lifestyle to put yourself out there. You being you is what makes you unique and what makes you stand out. That video has, I want to say, let's see, it's got over 244,000 likes, almost 4 million
Damn.
views,
Wow.
right? And somebody else who's over here insecure about a certain thing will never put themselves out there because they're like, people are gonna judge me or whatever. But you being you is what makes people fall in love with you. Nobody else can be that. You can have a certain imperfection that, encourages other people to do what you're doing because you're putting yourself out there. Now you're a leader in your specific audience and your community because you're a person that's capable of putting themselves out there regardless of how they feel
I
internally.
love that.
You know?
I love that. Wow, that was beautiful, babe. That is so true, though. It's so true. Like, you could be that leader, because a lot of times we get so, like he was saying, so consumed with how we look, how we feel, and our insecurities and stuff. And that really does hold us back a lot of the times. Like, the minute you start feeling confident, you learn to accept yourself, you can be unstoppable, you guys. Like, crazy.
100%.
Look, somebody said, what can you tell younger people who struggle in life? I think that's a really big one because there is a lot of younger generations, not generations, but like younger kids who are very lost in life, and I think that's like a very hard, like a very good topic to touch on. What would you say?
In terms of like the younger generation?
Yeah, what says what can you tell younger people who struggle in life?
I think for me, the biggest thing is that, it's a lot of comparison, going on right now on social media, right? That's where the most, the younger
number one,
generation are.
yeah.
Right? So they're like 16, 17, and they're like, oh, this kid at 20 something is a multimillionaire already. And I'm over here, still in my bedroom or in my parents' house, right? Or even just, it's a very common thing right now on social media for everybody to be depressed. It's like a trend, oh, I'm depressed, oh, I'm this. It's like, no, it's like you have certain things that you're not aware of that you're doing that are hurting you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And these things that you're lacking are causing you to feel that way, right? It's like, for me, it's like when I know that I didn't work out or I didn't eat good, right now I'm like, okay, cool, that tasted good, and I'm happy that I ate it. But tomorrow I'm gonna be beating myself because I'm gonna be like, why did you eat that? You're trying to get better. You have a responsibility as a dad to take care of yourself. And then compound that over a year, compound that over months, it's gonna beat you up.
Yep.
You can't escape your mind. And I think for the most part, that's the biggest thing that people struggle with right now, is like not taking control of their mind and allowing social media and other people to dictate how they think they should feel about themselves. You know what I mean?
That is so true. Yeah, I mean, the more I read in the book, if you guys haven't read it already, but in How to Master Your Emotions, they talk about that. They talk about how they did like a study on somebody who they sat like on a couch, and he kept telling himself every single day, like he was a perfectly normal person living his life, and they sat him down in a couch and had turned the TV on, and he kept telling himself this every single day, like, I'm depressed, I'm nobody, I will never be nobody. And within a year he really became depressed. But it just shows it just comes to show how your mind is so powerful. The more you tell it, the more it believes it. So even though you do feel a certain type of way at times, it's okay to feel that, but don't dwell on it. Don't allow it to be every single day, because it will eventually lead you into you start identifying with it, and then to get out of that's very, very hard. So definitely, like what Jose was saying, try to pull yourself out of those emotions. Try to start trying to take control over your emotions.
100%. And again, the biggest thing is always going to be your mind. Protect your mind at all costs, like, because like everybody can go live their life, etc. But if you protect your mind, whether it's what kind of books you're reading, what things are you listening to in the morning, and little things like that are going to give you the confidence to kind of be mental proof, right? And I think for the most part, instead of people having a routine with it themselves, where it's like, okay, if I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm going to go get a workout in. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to listen to a motivational video. Now you feel more confident because you're like, damn, I really did that. Now let me go and, work on my business, or let me study, or let me do this, right? And that compounded over time, you tuned out the noise pretty good to where now you're just tunnel vision, right? Instead of doing bad habits to where it's like, oh, you go on social media and then you get sucked in, right? Because of the dopamine, you're like trying to seek, who's doing what, this piece of content, or who's having drama, whatever the case might be. You become sucked into that. So now you're forgetting about your life because you're living for other people, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest mistake that a lot of people make. And again, control your mind, like know what goes into it, understand what you're feeding into your body, into your mind. All these little things play a part. And for the most part, people want to do the easy part. But if you start to realize that if you do the hard things first, it'll make your life easy. But if you do the easy things, it's going to make your life hard. It's a complete opposite. It's a crazy thing, but I would say that's the biggest thing when it comes to wanting to change your life, and having the capacity to be able to build and not be stressed out and not be overwhelmed and not live in anxiety and not feel depressed. Because again, if you guys didn't watch, I think it was our first one, our first video, I said that there's two forms of depression. One where it's obviously a chemical imbalance, and then the second one is self-induced depression. And the self-induced depression is what most of us feel, and so when we spend too much time on social media, because now we're comparing ourselves to how this girl looks, how much money this guy has, what car this person has, look how they live, look at the trips, look at, there's a lot of things that are uncontrollables in life, and things we don't know about certain people. We don't know what struggles they went through to achieve what they've achieved, but we just immediately compare to their,
success.
to their success, right? And for the most part, people fall into a victim of that, and then again, you become depressed. You live in anxiety because you're like, I don't look like that. I don't have that money. I don't have that career. I don't have that job. But at the end of the day, again, focus on yourself. Invest into your mind. Read books. If you don't like reading, there's an app called Audible. Download it. Listen to the audios as you're driving, as you're going to work, as you're getting your workout down, going to school, whatever. And that's going to give you the confidence to be like, okay, I am capable.
Yeah. And also too, like one thing that I would say, for the younger generation or who are struggling, I would say your environment. Be very cautious of who you're hanging around with. If that's the lifestyle you want, then keep at it. But if you want something better for yourself, definitely change who you're hanging around with, who you're spending most of your time with, because that will ultimately determine who you become, 100%. And I think that's one of the biggest struggles too nowadays. A lot of kids, want something better out of their life, and it's hard because they're hanging out with these low lives, these people who are smoking weed every single day, who are drinking every single day, who aren't fighting for their goals. And that's really, really hard. I think you really have to have a strong mind to be able to be like, this isn't what I want, and I'm gonna cut all these people off.
That part. Yeah. So, I think that's the part that people struggle with, because it's like, damn, if I don't no longer talk to this person, they're gonna say that I changed. They're gonna say that I no longer come over here. Que ya me
You're comfortable too, though.
Yeah.
A lot of times we get comfortable being around with certain people because
that don't challenge you.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, like she nailed it right on the head. It's like people are always gonna say something regardless of what you do, right? You can probably ask the people that I've known even before I started into what I'm doing now, and they'll probably be like, oh, he's probably changed, or he's this and that. Like,
and it's okay, you guys.
You're gonna outgrow people, and it's part of the process.
A lot of the times, I'm sorry to cut you off, but a lot of the times, one of the things that was really hard for me was that, because I like to consider myself humble, but a lot of the times I was getting a lot of like, oh, you're changing, and it's a very frustrating word, because you're like, I feel like I'm still the same person. But it is okay. Learn to accept that it's okay if you're changing, as long as your intentions are pure and you have a great heart and you are always trying to help people. You will change, and it is okay to change.
You're supposed to change.
You're supposed to change. You don't want to be the same person you were last year, because then that means you're not doing something right. So be comfortable with people saying you've changed, and it's okay. At the end of the day, the people that are going to follow you are the people that you want in your life and who align with your values, your morals, your goals, everything. So it's okay. You got to be okay with letting people go and letting them think whatever they want to think of you. You know, you just have to get in that mindset. Just know, as long as you have a good heart, you ain't hurting anybody, you're doing amazing. You're doing good.
Fire. And for the most part, the people that are going to be telling you that you've changed is because now you're a reflection of what they're not willing to do. You know, and so because of that, they can't face themselves. So they much rather, you know, try to tear you down so that they don't feel uncomfortable anymore. Because now you're building something and you come from the exact same place that they do. And now you're a reflection of what they're not willing to do. Right? Because I can tell everybody the same story. It's like, I come from where you come from. I grew up in the hood. Me and my mom used to live in garages. We used to rent people's rooms. But since they didn't physically see it, they'd be like, yeah, whatever. Right? But also, too, the people that did see me go through that and now see what I've become, it's like how did that even happen, right? Or, you know, ya cambió or whatever. But that's because they can't face the fact that they had the exact same opportunity. They just decided to go a different route than the one that I wanted for myself, right? And again, it's a growing thing. It's part of growth. Like, you are gonna lose people. It's part of the journey. Not everybody is going to go with you, no matter how much you love somebody, no matter how close of a friend you are with somebody. Life just happens. Part of life. You grow apart, you know, you stop talking because that person started, you know, maybe got a girlfriend and they went into that direction.
Whatever the case may be.
Whatever the case may be. It's not like a direct confrontation or a conflict or an argument. It's just life happens, right? And if you stay committed to your path of growth and becoming a better version, of course you're going to change. You're meant to change. Like, that's the whole reason why you dedicate so much time into yourself, right? You should be changing. It's a good thing. So if people tell you, hey, like, you've changed, or be like, good, thank you for noticing that. I've been putting a lot of time, I've been putting a lot of effort into myself. I've been self-educating myself and working on my personal development. So of course I'm going to change. Like, that's the point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
La Bonita Lina said, and sometimes it's even your family that you lose. Absolutely. A lot of times it's another thing, again, you know, cultural beliefs that we're adding. It's a lot of times, pero es tu hermano, es tu mamá, es tu tío, you know.
Family is just a title.
Family is just a title. If they're toxic, and you don't want somebody around like that, because even though they are your family, even though they are blood, if they're doing things to hurt you, do they really love you? Do they really care about you? No, they're just people that are hurting and they don't want you to succeed, you know. So that's another thing, letting family, like, cutting that attachment. It's because it's my brother, it's because it's my aunt, it's because it's my... No, if they're toxic, they're toxic. Doesn't matter, you know.
And it's very true. Like, you know, for me, like, the only people that I have in my life is like my aunt, which she lives in Arizona, and my mom and my sister, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like those are the people that, you know, aren't toxic, right? It's like my family members on my dad's side can say, oh, like, he became this, ya no le habla a nadie. Like, I wasn't even talking to y'all since the beginning. You know what I mean? Because y'all would fight against each other. You guys are supposed to be family, hanging out all the time. You guys are talking crap about each other when X person is not there. Like, you know, that's how I know you're probably talking about me when I'm not there, because in my face you're smiling, but I'm pretty sure you're saying some crap behind me. You know what I mean? And for the most part, people would either try to prove a point to them to where it's like, no, pero yo no soy así, or whatever, right? You try to argue with them because you're trying to change their perspective. Like, these are people that are committed to never changing their perspective. Like, they're stuck in their ways.
Open-minded.
So you're barking up the wrong tree. You're like, you know, yelling to a brick wall, right? It's like, I had a video go viral on this interview that I did with my boys from Tosa Live. Shout out to the guys from Tosa Live. And he asked me, like, are you okay with losing people? And I said, 100%. I'm okay with losing people faster, right? And the reason why is because for the most part, we try to hang on to people for as long as we can because we have an emotional attached to them. They might be family, they might be this and that. But at the end of the day, I have to go through a door that's only meant to fit me. It's not meant to fit everybody. I can't carry everybody through a door that's only meant to fit me, right? And a lot of us are trying to do that. So one, we hold ourselves back. You know, we're sad now because we're like, damn it, where if I go, I'm gonna lose all these people. They're gonna judge me. They're gonna criticize. They're gonna judge you and criticize you regardless if you make it big or not. Like, that's just who they are as individuals. Like, it's not gonna make a difference. You know what I mean?
And one of the things too, I think, one of the things that you'll notice is when you start your self-development journey is that you're gonna realize that you're truly healing when you start noticing that you're gonna start noticing the toxic traits of certain people, because you're now much more aware of why people say certain things, how they say them. So you're more aware of once they start saying things, but you're also gonna start realizing that you no longer want to be around those people. You're gonna feel mentally, emotionally, and physically drained just being around negative people. And that's when you're gonna realize, like, oh snap, I'm starting my healing journey, because you're not gonna waste your time trying to prove a point to somebody that we'll have conversations, and if you start seeing that person that comes very defensive and can't take your opinions, or can't be emotionally mature, you're gonna start realizing, like, yeah, this person's not even worth my time, me trying to explain, trying to make him a better person, or make him see things in a different perspective, or learn something from what I'm saying. So that's how you guys will know once you're starting your healing journey.
Yeah, you become a lot more aware. Awareness is probably the biggest thing that you'll see in your personal development journey, because like she said, you now start to notice patterns, because you've been working on. The more you know yourself, the more that you know others, right? And so because of that awareness increases to where it's like, okay, every time I talk about my goals and my this person always jokingly says something, like, why, right? And at first you're kind of like, all right, like, I'll brush it off. But then if it happens consistently, it's like, okay, now I know to detach from this person, or not to have these conversations, right? And that creates a lot of friction for most people. Why? Because they're too nice, they're too humble. People mistake the word humble with being broke or with being poor, like, you know what I mean? And that's not the case. Like, you can have as much money as you can and still be a humble person, right? So don't be afraid of having people tell you that you're no longer humble, or that you no longer come around, or that you no longer, ya no te juntas con los pobres. That's the thing. It's like, ya no te juntas con los pobres.
So true.
That's like people's first jab at like trying to drag you down, because again, you're a reminder of what they're not willing to do. And because you've now put yourself in different environments, in their mind, they think you're too good for them, but they don't realize that they're the people that think that you're too good for them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a whole different dynamic there. So I would say 100%, like, make sure that regardless of what people say, get tunnel vision with your goals. I'm not saying, be an asshole or, a bitch, and
still be humble, still know, obviously you also want to help bring those around you that you love, bring those that you love with you. So, obviously once you start your healing journey and your personal development starts, becoming addicting, and you start growing, you start becoming more aware, you also don't want to leave those behind you that truly love you and care for you. You always want to, like I said, be humble, but still know who really doesn't have true intentions. And I think where you can know when somebody's really just a snake and they really don't want the best for you, and then there's those who love you and care for you, but they're so accustomed to their habits that it's hard for them to kind of see a different perspective. So if you can always help those that are struggling, or those that you love, help them come up with you, because even that's with me, with my mom and my sister, they're obviously old, they're accustomed to the old
ways,
the old ways, like they talk about people, like the minute they see somebody walk in, they used to do that. And the more aware I became, because I used to do it too, it was just part of
your conditioning.
That's all we would talk about. Like when you hang out with, with the las tias,
yeah.
like somebody comes in and you automatically start saying, oh, mira su pelo, mira ya subió de peso, little things like that, right? But once you start learning, you start becoming aware of certain things, that that's not okay, and it's obviously too, like right now I don't have the time to sit there and talk bad about a person. It's like,
I'm focused on myself.
Exactly. I'm learning about myself. I'm growing. But it's also like now I'm in a point in my life where I'm like, I can't criticize that person because I don't know what they're going through. It's more than that. But
it's always deeper.
It's always deeper than that. But now it's like, I'm at a point where I'm a lot more aware, but I know that my mom and my sister, they have true intent. Like, they're
They're
good
really good
people.
people. Yep.
They're good people, but they're just so accustomed to the old school. That's all they know, right? So now it's my job to, whenever I do hear them talk about certain person or they say something that I'm like, hey, like, instead of me jumping in and adding more fuel to the fire, I'm like, hey, like, don't do that. This is why, and you give them a different perspective. You sit there and you talk to them, then they're like, oh yeah, I didn't even see it that way. And so next time they're aware. Now they know what you just told them. So the next time they're together or by themselves and they want to do that, they're like, oh wait, and
Yeah.
so
You planted that seed.
you planted that seed, and that's how you help the people around you. But like he was saying, you have to do it yourself first in order to help everyone around you after.
Yeah, 100%. You nailed that, babe. Because now you're an example. You're an example of what's a possibility. Like you said, like her mom and her sister are both amazing people. They're really good people. Like if you ever needed help or anything, they'll be there for you, right? But it's just the conditioning and it's the cultural habits that we have as a Mexican culture that we're just so used to. You know what I mean? They're very toxic things, but sometimes they might not even, in their mind, it doesn't even come across as like a bad thing.
It's a normal thing.
It's a normal thing. It's what they're accustomed to. And then obviously as you continue to expand your mind and your awareness, you can be that leader for them and be like, mom, or so and so, like, let's not do this, right? Like, let's break this. Like, why do we always have to judge people's things, right? Da da da. And one of the things I always tell Anita, it's like the reason why, for the most part, people judge, criticize, and those are the only conversations that they have, is because those are the only things that they have going for themselves, right? It's like that's why the tias love the novela and they get together with the comadre, is because those are the only things that they're exposed to and they have going for themselves that creates some sort of excitement or connection or something to be able to connect with somebody else. And that's all they know, right? That's
Yep.
their form of bonding. It's like
Yep.
as if me and her, we bond by going going to go watch a movie or whatever. Their way of bonding is through criticizing other people, right? And that doesn't mean that they're bad people. It's just, it's all they've known. You know what I mean? And you can't change. They can't be better if they haven't seen better. And you have the possibility to be better and to be that example for them, right? I think one of the things that for me, I personally struggle a lot with, like, I think I'm like traumatized, with like my journey. Like I have a very hard time like trusting people. And even when I meet people that I'm like, okay, this person is generally a nice person, I still have my guard up. I'm like, when is this relationship going to end? When am I going to lose this friendship? When is this person going to betray me? Or when is this person going to do something that I don't agree with, that I might see as like they're trying to play a move on me, right? And now I'm aware of it. So now I'm hyper focused on little things, right? I analyze people a lot. I listen a lot to what they say. And if anything that I've, been accumulating in terms of knowledge that they haven't yet done before, I'm like, that's different. Or this person slipped up and said certain things. And now I feel like I've developed this like trauma to where it's like I have a very hard time building relationships with people that I
Have
meet.
toxic
Or
traits.
yeah, because it's like, it's hard for me to trust. It's like I don't want to go through that feeling, and I would say like even with my clients, like it's a very common thing in like entrepreneurship. Like some of my clients, I see them and I'm like, that's the same thing that I would do. Oh, this person is analyzing so and so, and and it's part of your growth. You are gonna go through traumas when it comes to like your journey. You are gonna be hurting, losing people, and having people criticize you and judge you to the point where it's like you just kind of keep to yourself. And but that's one of the things that I'm working on, because I feel like it makes me be somebody that I'm not. Like I genuinely love helping people. I genuinely love giving people opportunity and stuff like that. But also too, like genuine people, there's a thing I heard this other day that says, humans are the only species that you never know what they're gonna do. Like if you get in the
yeah, I
water
think
with
you
a
were
shark,
saying that.
the shark's gonna bite you. If you are in front of a snake, that snake's gonna bite you. But a human, you never really know what they're gonna do, right? And that has cost me a lot of trauma. And I think it's something that I've definitely been working on or trying to get better, because it is really hard, right? And I'm not saying you're gonna go through a smooth journey in your journey and you're not gonna have these tensions and these frictions and these traumas, but you have to embrace it. If you have a purpose and a duty to fulfill and dreams to accomplish, it's going to be a byproduct of it, right? So, yeah.
What did I say? Come on, brothers, speak all the truth that we as Hispanics leave under the rug.
Yeah, literally. Like, I think for the most part.
What? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think you and I have had this conversation a lot is it's easy for people in our culture to talk behind people's back because we're not comfortable enough communicating or creating the space to be vulnerable and tell the person like, hey, you know what, I'm kind of bothered by you saying this. Like, we're not okay with
Communication, absolutely.
communication and confrontation. So it's like, I much rather talk about you behind your back because
Then say it to your face.
yeah, because I don't feel confident enough creating this space to even communicate and for us to have a discussion, not an argument, a discussion of like, hey, you know, like I'm getting this from you, I'm getting this vibe, or I'm seeing this that I'm not really liking. Like, can you kind of help me understand
Absolutely.
it? And that person can be like, no, like
I'm
not at all.
It's just
You know what I
I've been
mean?
having a
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, I think one of the things too, you know, I think as I think there's two things, right? When it comes to us, and I'm speaking from me being Mexican, you know, Latinos, it's hard for us to have like that communication because we're so used to the parents being right, you know, and the parents, what they say goes, and they have all the authority over you, and you're the kid, you're the hijo, you can't talk back, you can't try to educate them, you can't, you know, you have to respect them at all costs, and that's
Regardless if they're in the right or not.
regardless if you're in the right or not. Like, that's our ego, right? As parents, we're like, no, I'm the parent, I'm right, and I know why I do things, and tú no me tienes que decir nada, like, me tienes que respetar, but that causes us to be like, oh, well, you know,
to have that issue.
to have that issue, like, I can't communicate with what I'm feeling, or with, you know, if you and we take that with everything else, other, you know, your job, your business, your partners, your friendships, all of that. You start becoming like, you can't say anything because you're not supposed to, you're not allowed to, and so then that kind of
trickles on into everything else.
Trickles, exactly. And then another thing that I'm gonna, you know, say is boundaries. I think us, and like I said, I'm speaking for Latinos, Mexicans. We don't know when to have boundaries. You're not even allowed to lock your door in your room, right? Because aquí manda el papá, la mamá, y aquí no se cierran las puertas, and they can come in and burst into your room because they have all this authority over you. But they don't tell you that it's okay to have boundaries. And then when we grow up, it makes it okay for everybody to step over us, for everybody to be a pushover, you know? So
I think that's something that you dealt with a lot. You know what I mean? I think that was something that we would always talk about, and even for me, like, I think, like, I had to learn how to not be seen as like an asshole because I stayed away. You know what I mean? Because I also too, like, when you have this like different awareness and perspective, it's hard to communicate that and translate that over to somebody else, right? And so for me, one of the things that I would do is I would just stay away. Like, I won't, you know, I'm not gonna be around you. I'm just gonna stay away so that there's not this like weird, you know, tension or whatever, right? But for the most part, I think a lot of us deal with not being capable of communicating and really creating the space because it's really uncomfortable, right? But I think if us as a culture, if we, you know, create the space to communicate and, you know, talk about, you know, the issue or what something that possibly might not be an issue, but if we just bring that up and we lay it out on the table, it'll create a better relationship, you know, with our family members, with our friends, even with our kids. I think that's one thing that we prioritize, as like whenever we need to tell something to Mila, or obviously because she's a little bit older, right? It's like, it's never like, no hagas esto, or da da da. It's always like, mama, like, you know, it's don't do this because of this, and this, right? Or we communicate a little bit more, so where it's not just my parents are telling me what to do. It's like, no, they're teaching me, they're educating me, they're leading me to make better decisions, right? And we always tell Mila, like, you know, would you rather do this or do this? Right? And it's like, okay, if you do this, here's the consequences, or here's what could happen, right? So now their mind starts going and it starts being creative and it starts creating these like scenarios to where now they can analyze. And for the most part, that's actually another trauma, right? That I feel like we don't talk about is like we're so used to having all these boundaries, whether it's like que el cucuy, que la llorona, que este, que lo otro. So these are all made up
Instilling
fears.
fears.
You know, it's like these fears that our parents instill on us, but they don't realize that those create boundaries even outside of our youth. Now, whenever we want to go and chase after a dream or a goal that we have, we're like, no, I can't walk outside of these boundaries that I now know because I don't know what's out there. And so since I don't know what's out there, I'm fearful and I'm not going to move because again, I'm scared of what could possibly be out there. And there might not be anything out there aside from everything that's, life-changing, beautiful and empowering, but you'll never get to experience that because of those childhood traumas, because of those, fears instilled in you at a very young age.
Yeah.
And it might not be that your parents wanted to do that to you, but that's just what they've known culturally. But it creates, it creates all these barriers that linger for a very long time. And I remember like for us and Mila, like, her mom would be like, oh, que no salgas para allá, que te va a agarrar el cucuy. And we were like, no, like, please don't tell her that because it's going to do this, this, and this. And then she's like, like, I didn't think about that, right? It's just little things that we do as like a second nature thing because that's what we've known for so long, right? But there's a lot of little details that once you start exploring the mind and you yourself become aware of why you are a certain way and why you don't do certain things or why you limit yourself or have these thoughts, it's the deeper that you deep dive into yourself, the more that you're able to explain that and understand why people are the way they are.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. So, but yeah, you guys, I think we got to wrap it up. It's already 8. It's been a good
hour and a half.
A good hour and a half.
Gone by quick.
It always goes by so fast, you guys. But I hope you guys took something out of this. I hope it touched a lot of you guys in some shape, way, or form. And let's accept that we do have a lot of traumas. Accept them and don't blame your parents. They only did what they know best, and they are always doing it with the right intentions, obviously, but now for the most part. And now it's our job to kind of break those cultural habits and becoming our the best version of ourselves. Invest in yourselves, like we always say, for you, for your future babies, for your babies if you already have any, and just for generations to come. And yeah, do you want to say anything, babe?
Sorry, I was over there adjusting the live. No, honestly, I think this is a very good topic for us to be able to have this conversation because I think a lot of people deal with it. But again, everybody goes through it. It's normal. It gets easier as you continue to grow and work on yourself. And then you end up becoming the example for the right people, right? There's always, even if you make it, even if you achieve what you want to achieve, even if you become more mentally aware and, you start a business and you become ultra successful and you have all this knowledge, there's still going to be people that you're never going to be able to save, right? And I'm not saying that it's okay, but it's part of life, right? And it's sometimes the faster that we accept the reality of life, the faster that we accept that we can't save everybody and not everybody can go to where we're trying to go or be better. And I think that's one of the things that I have accepted a lot lately. It's like if people would just accept life for it being hard, when it's easy, they would enjoy it more, right? And for the most part, people want life to be easy all the time and happy. And I think that there's people that chase happiness without realizing that it's always going to be, you're always going to be chasing it. It's like for us, or I'll say it from my perspective, I've achieved the level of success that I would daydream about just 7-8 years ago. And
you're like
you know what I mean? And now one of the things that I've realized is like those moments where you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, or that feeling of just this feeling of gratitude and fulfillment that just fills you and just comes over you is very, very limited. For the most part, like if you guys see our posts on social media, those little moments are probably 10% of what we go through on a daily basis, running our business, making sure that the house is good, our kids are good, like all these other things. But if you accept the 90%, you'll really, really appreciate that 10% and understand that it's not about always being happy and always having things being smooth and none of that. The more you embrace the suck, the more that you actually get to enjoy whenever you do get those glimpses of, those happiness and those moments that just live in your life forever. It's like we appreciate the sun because we get the nighttime. Same thing with life. We appreciate the good things that happen to us because we went through tough times.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what
just
I mean?
changing your victim mentality.
Yeah.
You
gotta stop being a victim and be a victor in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, guys. Oh, yes. Lena says, okay, but wait, good luck to everyone for the giveaway. If you haven't yet, go enter Anita's giveaway. So for those of you guys that are on social media like Instagram and stuff, I am doing a brow giveaway. It ends tomorrow, so you still have time to enter. I am doing a brow giveaway for one of the lucky winners plus a plus one.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to be 2 brows. So it's going to be either for you, your mom, your best friend, whoever you want to take. So you guys haven't entered, go enter. I'm really excited. I can't wait to meet the giveaway winners.
It's tomorrow.
Just change people's lives. So if you guys haven't entered, go enter, you guys. I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm excited tomorrow. So wish me guys luck because I'm going with my mentor. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'll be posting on my Instagram so you guys can follow that journey as well. And yeah, we got to get back to the babies, guys. Yeah. So we'll see you guys.
Well, before we finish this, I want to give you your flowers because I think, you
got me flowers?
No, like,
okay.
That's a saying, like.
I was like looking, I'm like, where's he gonna pull them from?
Sorry, guys. She's not conditioned yet.
I'm not used to this stuff.
No,
I've never heard that before.
It's like a saying, come on, like I want to express my gratitude or give you
baby,
it's called giving your flowers because typically for the most part people give you flowers when you die. That's the only time people give you flowers.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the context of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to give you your flowers, because these last couple of weeks that we've been, focusing on your business and helping you get structured. Like your giveaway video went crazy, and then from there the other video that we did about what do you do for a living and all that went super crazy. 1.4 million views right now. And then today, obviously, you committed to investing into a mentorship because you started seeing that okay, I gotta get back on track. I'm feeling something's changing or I'm not in my groove, and you committed to it and you made the investment into yourself. So I want to say that I'm proud of you because I think those are the things that are gonna shape you into the woman that I know you can become. And like I've told you before, if you just had even a fraction of the belief that I had in myself and you would be even greater than anything that I could ever be. You have so much grace in yourself. You have so much potential. You're going to really impact the world. So just wanted to give you your flowers and say that I'm proud of you. I love you. Aww. And it's amazing to see you become the woman that I know you could be. So.
Oh, I love you, baby.
Love you.
Thank you. I'm like, why didn't you capture my face?
There we go.
I'm like, when you were saying all that, you should see me how I was smiling from ear to ear. No, but I'm super grateful for all the love and support that he's given me. Obviously none of this would have been possible if he didn't believe and push me, because he's honestly my freaking I sometimes get annoyed by it because it's always like da, 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 do this, and I'm like, oh my god, let me catch a breath, but I'm grateful for it because I do need that, and like I said, we need that strong support system. So it's really important that your partner is always pushing you, believes in you, because sometimes it's hard for us to see who we're meant to be and where we're supposed to be, but having somebody push you and seeing that for you is really crucial, and it's really important to become the person you want to be. So like I said, I'm super grateful for him. He's always been pushing me, always trying to see me be the best version that he sees in me. And it's sometimes when it's even really hard for me to believe it or see it. So I'm just truly, truly grateful, and I'm expecting my flowers. Just kidding. No, but I can't believe I've never heard that term. I feel so dumb when you're like, let me give you your flowers. I was like, oh, you got me flowers.
A whole bouquet.
I know.
But anyways, guys, we're gonna call it a wrap for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. And then we'll see you guys next week, same time.
Yeah, we're right, guys. We will see you guys on the next episode. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Let's go.